2024 is turning out to be a great year for indie games. There have been lots of great games already this year, including Ultros, Pepper Grinder and Balatro. And we're still only just moving into the second quarter. It is the start of a new month, it's the start of April, and so in this video I'm going to run through 10 indie games that are coming out in the next 4 weeks. There's a wide variety of stuff coming out, from first-person gardening, puzzling, to open-world exploration, to moody survival horror. And I'm sure there'll be things we don't even know about that'll come to our attention too. I always look forward to those wild cards that seem to come out of nowhere and grab everyone's attention. But before we get to the April games, I would love it if you would like this video. If you enjoy it, you can always subscribe to the channel for more like this, and I will let you know about the channel's Patreon and the cozy patron-only Discord server at the end. So let's get into it and talk about the April releases for 2024. So first up we have one that I've been really looking forward to actually. It's Botany Manor by Balloon Studios and published by Whitehorn Games. It's coming out on Game Pass on the 9th of the month, and this one had a demo in the Steam Next Fest earlier in the year, so I have gone hands-on with it, and I had a really good time actually. It's a gentle explore-em-up puzzle game set in a Victorian manor with lots of surrounding greenhouses and nice areas to explore. But the main gameplay in this game does revolve around gardening and puzzles. You find seed chests and you find information pinned to blackboards and notice boards and library books and that kind of thing. The first puzzle is a good example. You start in a very smoky greenhouse, but you find some information about how if you plant certain kind of plants, they will suck all the smoke out of the air. After you've done so, the air clears, the door unlocks, and you can move on. I think this is a very relaxing game. If you're looking for something chill, then try out Botany Manor on the 9th of the month. Also on the 9th, we have a very stylish game coming from Devolver Digital, made by Rene Ruther. I've talked about this one before on the channel. It is Children of the Sun. This is the magic bullet game where you're an assassin, you fire one bullet, when you hit someone you can then redirect the bullet to shoot in a different direction, like the JFK magic bullet theory. So each level is a puzzle to be solved with enemies in intentionally difficult places, but there are also some extras, like if you shoot the fuel cap of a car it will explode and take out several enemies at once. Devolver's games always have a bit of edge to them, and this is no exception actually. I started up the demo the other day and I was really taken aback by just how good the colourful artwork is. It looks like a Simon Bisley comic book, and if you know Simon Bisley you'll know that that's a very high compliment. So you can try out Children of the Sun on the 9th. On the 10th we have Broken Roads by Drop Bear Bites and published by Versus Evil. This is a Wasteland-style isometric game where you control a party and you explore a post-apocalyptic version of Western Australia's Wheat Belt region. So it looks a lot like the Wasteland games, at least superficially. I've played a couple of the Wasteland games, and although I really enjoyed the style, I found them to be a little bit buggy. And in Wasteland 3 I had a progress-halting bug that ruined my save file, so I'm definitely in the market for a game like this. I think this one looks really nice. They say that the unique selling point of it is a deep morality system, and I love games, of course, where choices matter, and where you get different endings based on the choices that you made in your playthrough. So this one looks really interesting to me. That's Broken Roads. It's coming to PlayStation, Xbox, Switch and Steam on the 10th of the month. The next game that we have here was one of my most looked forward to indie games of the year, and it's finally coming out. It's Harold Halibut by the Slow Bros, and it's been in development for over 9 years. The developers say it started life in 2012 as a conversation over dinner about their love of stop-motion animation and story games. There's actually a really fun video on their website where you can see them carving out a dollhouse and the first models that would be used to make the game. And while stop motion is an infamously slow method of animation, it does have a certain physical quality to it as well, and I think that's what makes Harold Halibut so fun to look at. It's a sci-fi adventure game based on an ark that was launched to escape the Earth, and ended up landing on an ocean planet where the people live under the water in the safe confines of the station. It has a lovely dripping melancholy sort of quality, and as Harold isn't happy with his underwater life, I think the game will trace the path of him trying to escape. That's Harold Halibut, and it's coming to PC, PlayStation and Xbox, including Game Pass, on the 16th. The next one's for all you Silent Hill and Resident Evil fans out there. It's a survival horror game called Pine Harbor by the Vision Forge team. This isn't my usual genre, and I wouldn't have reported on it, but when I was watching the trailer, I was very taken with the vibey looking environment. In this game, you arrive at a foggy, abandoned fishing town, where something has gone horribly wrong. From the trailer it looks like you'll find yourself wandering through forests at night with just a flashlight and a shotgun for company, and the seaside town itself looks very atmospheric with desolate piers and tower blocks, and it looks like there are some survivors to talk to as well as you try to figure out what happened. The initial release is for Steam only, but if that sounds good to you, you can try out Pine Harbor on the 18th. Also on the 18th, something interesting is coming into early access. It's No Rest for the Wicked by Moon Studio, who you might know as the creators of the two excellent Ori games. No Rest for the Wicked is the first time they've deviated from that Metroidvania combat platformer kind of path, and it's something completely different. It's a top-down game, it seems to have some crafting and resources and combat, and it has a very nice art style. Some journalists have had access to this game already. I saw Jacob Geller talking about it on the MinMax show, and he said it was surprisingly Souls-like. And I tend to avoid early access, I like to play the finished thing, but I'll be watching with interest as people try out No Rest for the Wicked on the 18th of the month. On the 23rd, we have Tales of Kanzera Zhao by Surgent Studios and published by Electronic Arts. You might have caught sight of this one if you watched the Game Awards last year, when the developer got up on stage and talked about how it was inspired by his father's death. I have actually tried this one. There was a demo in Next Fest. It's a fast-paced action platformer that plays a lot like Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. And it's interestingly inspired by African spiritualism, so if that sounds good to you, then try out Tales of Kanzera Zhao on the 23rd. On the 25th, we have SandLand. This is an open-world vehicle battler set in a wide desert, but it has a very strong Dragon Ball flavour thanks to art by the late Akira Toriyama. There was a demo of this one out recently and I gave it a try. It's kind of fun actually. You have a tank, you have a motorbike, you have a mech, you can switch between all of your vehicles and go around the desert, battling monsters, exploring. It's a really fun little game. The demo is really nice. It seems like a B-tier open-world game, and honestly, I have space in my heart for that for sure. That's SandLand, coming out on the 25th of the month. Just a little editor's note here, I've noticed it's published by Bandai Namco, which isn't exactly indie, but SandLand looks good, so I've put it in here anyway. Something that is indie, however, is Another Crab's Treasure. This is a cartoon Souls-like, where you control a crab, you can use different things as your shell, you can get different weapons. I've heard some whispers from people who played this at trade shows like PAX and so forth, and they seem to really enjoy it. I played the developer Aggro Crab's last game. It was a roguelike called Going Under, based on startup culture. It was very polished and funny, so it's interesting that they're taking a swing at a Souls-like. If you'd like to try it out, Another Crab's Treasure is coming to Game Pass on the 25th. Just a couple more to go. The second last one is Manor Lords, coming out on the 26th by Slavic Magic and published by Hooded Horse. The developers say this one's a medieval strategy game featuring in-depth city building, large-scale tactical battles, and complex economic and social situations. I think you will know from that description whether this is a game for you. I'm not exactly sure if it is one for me, but I might well give it a try because it's coming to PC Game Pass. That's Manor Lords on the 26th of the month. And I'm going to sneak in one last non-indie game here, so I'm cheating a little bit. But I am very interested in Stellar Blade. It's a Sony published game. It looks like Bayonetta mixed with Nier. It's a stylish action game with lots of anime vibes. And I really like the Bayonetta combat. It's really invigorating, it gets your pulse racing. And Sony actually accidentally published the demo for this game and then withdrew it, but a couple of days later they released it again formally, so Stellar Blade has a demo on the PlayStation 5 now. And as soon as I've published this video, that's how I'm going to spend the rest of my Easter Monday. But if you're interested in trying it, the demo's out and the full game comes out on the 26th of the month. That's Stellar Blade. So those are the 10 games that I'm most excited about that are coming out in April of 2024. Thanks for watching. I hope you found something that you found interesting, something to add to your wish list. If you did, it really helps the channel to leave a like or a comment. It helps the videos to rise up through the algorithm, so I really appreciate that. You can always subscribe to the channel for more like this. And we also have a super lovely Patreon community of people who support this channel. You can do so at patreon.com/gaminginthewild for just $1 a month. You will get a bunch of patron-only podcasts and an invitation to our cozy Discord server, which is like a lovely quiet corner of the internet to talk about games with nice people. If that sounds good to you, it's patreon.com/gaminginthewild. And with that, thanks for watching, take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you on the next one.